Bullies corner white twins but had no clue they were trained to break bones. It was the start of a regular Wednesday at Riverside High School. The hallways buzzed with chatter, lockers slammed, and somewhere in the corner, the sound of basketballs echoed from the gym. In the middle of it all, Ethan and Evan Carter, identical twin brothers, quietly navigated the hall. At first glance, they looked like any other 17-year-old seniors, tall, lean, with pale skin and messy blonde hair. But behind their calm demeanor lay a secret no one at school knew. Their father was a former Navy SEAL, and they had been training in close-quarters combat since they were 10 years old. They didn't brag, they didn't start fights, but they knew exactly how to finish them. The setup. The trouble started with Travis Hale and his crew, the school's self-proclaimed kings of intimidation. Travis was a broad-shouldered linebacker with a bad habit of picking on smaller kids, and today his target was a freshman named Lucas, who was lugging a stack of books down the hall. Travis smacked the books out of Lucas's hands. The papers scattered, and the boy bent to pick them up. "Oops, clumsy much," Travis grinned. That's when Ethan stepped in. "Pick it up, Travis." The hallway went silent. Travis turned, looking Ethan up and down. "Oh, look, one of the albino twins wants to play hero." Evan stepped forward, standing shoulder to shoulder with his brother. "That's twins trained to break bones, actually." His voice was calm, but his eyes were locked in. The corner. Travis wasn't used to being challenged. He motioned to his two friends, both equally massive, and within seconds, the twins were backed against a wall near the gym entrance. "You think you're tough," Travis sneered. "Let's see what happens when I—" He didn't finish. Ethan's training kicked in. In a blur, he redirected Travis's arm, twisted his wrist, and pinned him face first against the lockers. Evan, moving just as fast, stepped between the two other bullies, landing a clean palm strike to one's chest and a low sweep kick to the other, sending him crashing to the floor. Gasps filled the hallway. The silence before the storm. For a split second, everything froze. The bullies' friends stood shocked. Travis, pinned and wincing in pain, spat out, "You're dead after school." Ethan leaned in and whispered so only Travis could hear. "After school, before school, or right now, you're still going to lose." Then he released him. The twist. Most fights would end there, but the bullies couldn't take the humiliation. By lunch, the twins heard the whispers. Travis had told the football team what happened, and they were planning to teach the twins a lesson behind the gym after last period. What Travis didn't know, the twins' father had been invited to give a self-defense seminar for the school later that afternoon. And he wasn't just bringing mats and training pads, he was bringing their black belts. The showdown. At 3:15, as the football players gathered behind the gym, ready to swarm, the twins walked out calmly, this time, wearing their martial arts uniforms. Their father, a towering man with a voice like gravel, stepped out right behind them. "All right, boys," he said, addressing both the bullies and the crowd of students gathering to watch. "Looks like today's lesson is about overconfidence." For the next 10 minutes, the twins systematically dismantled every attempted tackle, punch, and grab, all in controlled, non-lethal moves. The crowd cheered as the football players tapped out, one by one. The aftermath. By the end, Travis was sitting on the grass, clutching his shoulder, realizing that this wasn't about being the toughest guy in school, it was about knowing when you'd met someone you couldn't break. From that day on, no one touched Lucas. No one touched the twins. And whenever someone asked them how they learned to fight like that, Ethan and Evan just smiled. Family tradition.